Next up will be Nevada.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Charlie Pan. I'm with Nevada DOT. I'm the Assistant Chief Materials Engineer, and I'm in charge of both payment design and payment management. So today I'd like to talk about how we combine the payment preservation with 3R program and the Betterments together. The definition of 3R program in Nevada DOT is basically the major rehabilitation. We do that within 10 to 20 years, depending on the traffic amount, the importance of the routes. And the betterment basically is the district doing payment preservation work. So that can be anywhere from seal the cracks, chip seal, slurry seal, all the way up to a localized patch. So that's the definition of betterment. And the 3R program is oversees by the headquarters. So it's a project development from top down to determine where the priority is and what kind of a treatment that we want to have on the pavement. And the betterment is totally opposite. It's from bottom up. It's suggested by each district with their maintenance supervisor. They come up with a list with proposed treatment, then going up to the letter of chain of command to the headquarters to get approval. So basically, most of the time, as long as the funding allowed it, those betterment projects will proceed as recommended by district. Here, just a brief description on how we combine the 3R program and the betterment all together relate to payment preservation. The purpose of 3R rehabilitation, that's basically mill and fill and overlay with either open grade or chip seal wearing courses. So it's a more detailed, complete payment rehabilitation project. And betterment work including fog seal, sand seal, scrub seal, and the chip seals. And both of them has a common goal is to preserve the pavement, to extend the life of the pavement. We are one of the fast growing states in the nation for over 20 years, and most of the funding has been allocated to capacity improvement, like widen the lane, build a new freeway. Like the last couple of years, we just built about 12 miles of brand new interstate in Las Vegas area called Interstate 11, which basically from Hoover Dam all the way to Henderson, and it will extend further north. Eventually, it will go either into Idaho or probably the final goal is to connect from Mexico to Canada. So I don't know how that alignment going to be, but that's a huge capacity project for the next 20 to 50 years in the West Coast. So we run into trouble on limited funding. So here is a perfect example when we consider payment preservation. What's our goal? So are we going to make the payment extend the life, or we want to go play the payment, make it look like a brand new, for example, something like this. So this is not the main purpose of payment preservation. The payment preservation is more to extend the life of the payment. For example, for something like this, what we try to do is to dig out the failure area and patch the failure area only instead of reconstruct the whole roadway. And also something like this, it may be too late to do a minor surface treatment to correct the defects. So what we can do is a mill and overlay to fix this. And here showing you a good candidate for payment preservation, that if we can get in early enough, instead of later to get a more costly repair. So same thing on this is a good candidate for payment preservation early in the payment life, that we can fix the distress and extend the life of the payment. So here is the table showing the pavement preservation strategy that we use on most of the Betterment projects. Sorry, it's not really easy to read, but I can try to explain right here. So basically, for entire state, we develop 5 different categories for all the state maintained route. Basically, from category 1, that's the highest importance, carry with the highest amount of traffic. Most of the time, it's interstate and the control assets, all the way down to category 5 that can be less than 400 ADT route. So from category 1 to category 5, that tells you the priority and the importance of the route. So for pavement preservation, most of the time we focus on category 3, 4, and 5 because those are less volume of traffic, and also that's not the main focus of the 3R program, which is the major rehabilitation because of the funding constraint. Now most of our 3R project can only focus on category 1 and category 2. So for category 3 to category 5, it's heavily rely on Betterment project, which involve a lot of pavement preservation strategy, can be all the way from seal coat, crack seal, single chip seal, double chip seal, microsurfacing, all the way to machine patch and the thin overlay. So this is how we decided to what kind of strategy that we can use and the life expectancy. So as here you can see, we get about 5 to 10 years life out of chip seal, and we may get more if we do a thin overlay. So this one, everybody already see this about the pavement life curve versus the pavement condition from very good all the way to very poor. So we use the PSI rating for pavement management system, and that basically is heavily rely on IRI and other distress data to come up with an index for pavement condition. So here just showing that NDOT has 3 districts. Each district got different miles on different category of the road and their condition. As you can see right here, for category 4 and category 5, that's not in very good shape, and we are heavily rely on chip seal and other betterment strategy to maintain the pavement in an acceptable condition. So in order to give that collaboration between headquarters and the local regional district regarding pavement preservation work, so both maintenance division and the materials division in the headquarters working with district through partnership try to get more bang for the bucks to come up with a better strategy and a better timing for each different treatment. So here you can see for maintenance division, basically they work with local district on betterment project lists and come up with the betterment project. So the strategy they normally use is from chip seal, slurry seal, fog seal, all the way to patch, and sometimes they can do roadway repair as well, depending on the severity of the pavement. And for materials division, so both material and the maintenance is in the headquarters. So for materials division, that's where I'm at. We provide technical support, provide testing, also provide troubleshooting, and also testing training for local district when they apply pavement preservation. And I like to mention that we are one of the states we still running field viscosity testing for CIR and the chip seal in the field. So we test the emulsion viscosity before they spray on the road. So that's what we do. So there's a lot of training required to conduct those testing in the field because it's a pass, no pass test. that there's no way you can retest it and argue about the test result later. So also here continues talk about how headquarters help the local district on their payment preservation activities. So, okay, so that's about the end of my presentation here. So the really focus is on appropriate treatment are the key for successful payment preservation plan, and the district as well as headquarters will continue to coordinate payment rehabilitation and the preservation activities in order to maximize the investment, best bang for the bucks. So good communication and working as a team that allow both headquarters and the district to implement successful payment preservation plan. So continue, our goal is to build a strategic relationship that ensures success. So how we pass down the knowledge is through the partnership. So we get information from the district to see which treatment works better, which material works better. Then at headquarters, we can make sure we got the right specification and we specify the right material and the right strategy for the project that's coming in the future. So that's about all my presentation. So our slogan is save money and be a hero for payment preservation. That's it. So any questions?
ITD, when we were doing microsurfacing and some other stuff, we got some help from the National Center. We put in our contract that they would come out. The contractor had to hire them to come out and train ITD people, and the contractor in, I think it was microsurfacing or something like that. Have you guys tried that, where you've, or anybody in the States, use that service where they come out and they work with the contractor in the state, and so everybody's in the same room and they learn the same thing and kind of get some training before we, go out on the road? And I talked to Larry, and my management is interested in, eventually developing a specification where that's part of what we do is have somebody, it may not necessarily be the center, but somebody come out and do just-in-time training for the whatever application, if we're trying something new or whatever, because we have a lot of new people, the contractors have a lot of new people. So I was just wondering if you, in your experience, have tried using that service.
Question is about training and certification program for microservicing, surface treatment. Yeah, my understanding is they have 3 different kind of a certificate. One is for surface treatment, which including microsurfacing and slurry seal. They have another one is for chip seal, and also they have one for crack sealing. So those 3. So Nevada, we were one of the pilot states in the West about 3-4 years ago to take that training, also put that into the contract document to require the contractor to be certified on the personnel, not the whole company, just key personnel on the job need to get certified or pass the training. We also send a lot of our in-house people, both headquarters as well as field inspector for that certification program. So we implement that for a couple of years, and now the certification is about to expire. So the current policy for NDOT is we are not going to extend that certification program, but we will emphasize on on-time training right before the job. So for every surface treatment job, whether it's a microsurfacing, slurry seal, or chip seal, we're gonna require contractors sit in with the resident engineer and the layer crew together before the job start, talk about how we're gonna proceed and how we gonna emphasize or take care of the specification requirement. So so now it's not really a certification program, it's more of the on-the-job training, make sure everybody has the same understanding on what need to be focused and what's the expectation from the department, so there's no argument afterward. So that's what NDOT is working on now in terms of that, but that's a good program to have it, both contractor and the agency. I think the biggest benefit for that certification program is everybody speaks the same language. There's no argument about when you say seal coat, I say chip seal, what's the difference, right? So we can come up with agreement. Like during your presentation and Montana's presentation, you guys use seal coat and chip seal interchangeably, but basically that's the same thing.
Well, we use English and metric interchange. We do a lot of step interchange.
Okay.
Thank you, because I think I picked the right person to ask that question for, because you guys are getting on it.
Right, we did, yes.
Great.
Can you say anything about how your project level versus network level, your budget percent-wise is allocated, if at all?
You mean in terms of a payment or the overall department?
Overall department project levels and network level.
Well, overall department, our budget is between 500 to 600 million a year, but that covers everything from capacity down to fix the drop-in line. But for payment, we have about 125 million to 150 million a year that allocate to payment rehabilitation as well as payment preservation. For example, like last fiscal year, 2019, we increased the betterment with 10 million. That's about 40% increase, because every year we have about 25 million for betterment, for chip seal, either it's a state force or contractor work on betterment projects. So we increase about 40% because we expect, because of the funding constraint, we expect to use more and more payment preservation strategy to cover more and more miles of payment because of a lack of funding on major rehabilitation. So I'm glad you asked that. I got a slide showing that the advertised payment repair work for the last 2 years. I don't have the latest 2019, but you can see right here for contract maintenance repair work, that's basically the betterment, and the contract rehabilitation repair work, that's basically the major rehabilitation. As you can see right here, we spend a lot more on rehabilitation, but it covers less miles. That shows you the payment preservation really carry the load on the payment repair work. It's about 2 to 3 times more miles. So the miles is centerline miles. So that tells you how much work we do on the network, and individually each district get the even share of amount of money so they can carry the payment preservation work, as well as on major rehab. We try to get a balance between each district and also between urban and rural area as well.
I was interested about your statement on certification. I mean, you were one of the lead states in getting both contractors and agencies involved in certification, and now you're not going to renew. What is the primary reason? Is it a cost, or is it?
Well, one of it is the cost, yes. And another thing would be the high turnover rate with state agency that we just couldn't keep up with that certification.
But you're actually one of the few states where the certification training takes place right in Clark County. So the
Yes.
cost for your state is less than the cost for other states. So I just wondered if it was costs. So
Yes.
that's not good news.
Thanks, Charlie.
The preceding was produced by the National Center for Pavement Preservation.
More information can be found on the web at pavementpreservation.org. Additional support provided by Michigan State University.